Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead out at the famous patch in Woodland, Washington, pumpkin patch. You can probably hear the geese overhead and the train going by. That's part of being at the patch. There's a train track not too far away, and the bottomland attract a lot of geese. But anyway, they're getting ready to start doing sales. It's a little bit, what is it? We're late September right now. October 1st is the day they open up. And I was asking Matt, can I show what you do to get the field ready? They're doing all kinds of decorations. I might walk through a little bit of that right now, but those aren't done. But I was like, you know, all the vines are growing up. Do you knock down all the vines, or they just walk down by customers? And so they've had actually some part of their crew come in here. Okay, so all these pumpkins, you can see some aren't quite ready yet, but many are. We're transitioning from the carving pumpkins, the normal jack-o'-lanterns, to the polar bears. And I may have mentioned earlier that they had some tools knocking it down as well as cutting the vines, but basically they just have the guys walk over and kick down the vines as they clip all the pumpkins, the stems, so that you can pick them up. So they've had a crew. I met one of the young men, Mason, here just a minute ago. They're the ones that come through and clip all these stems and expose the pumpkins for you to pick them up. These are the polar bears. And so this is what the field looks like just before all the customers start coming in. They don't open all the field at once. As they sell out of this area, they'll go back into another area. So I'll show you off in the distance there's pumpkins where they're not cutting down the vines yet, because that's not going to be open to the public just yet. And the plant will keep growing, keep making the pumpkins larger and helping them turn color. And then they'll move on into that further spot. So this is how they're doing it at the patch. So we're on the trail going by the corn. The pumpkins are over here. It's really nice of them to let me out here. Sometimes people are a little self-conscious when it's not as good as they normally like. They're saying this was an incredibly tough weed year. Lots and lots of weeds that they weeded and weeded. That sometimes you just have years like that. So you could kind of see the line that they knocked down right here that's separating this side over here. They went ahead and knocked all the foliage down, all the vines, and exposed the pumpkins. And this is what the patch looks like here, where these are going to be harvested later. They're going to open up this section of the field after this section is sold out. I think they have about 30 acres in this year. The corn maze is 6 acres. So lots of pumpkins here. I was just getting ready to take you into their corn maze. We'll do that in just a second, but Matt, the owner, just drove by. He's a good guy, and I knew he's too busy. He's like, don't bother spending time with me, but he shared a quick story, so I'll share it with you. I didn't want to pull out a camera and stick it in his face as he was sitting right there, but he said this was the year of mice. If you're a farmer, you know there might be one thing and another. This year, mice, actually he planted a bunch of seeds in a row, and the mice came and just ate them all up out of the row, and he had to replant his entire field, or an entire section of the field, and then the mice came through and did it again. So then they had to do some mice eradication, and then plant some different stuff. And he said unfortunately they think that they're going to, at some point in time this year, they had 65,000 guests last year, so there are a lot of pumpkins go out of here, and because their crop isn't as good this year as in years past, they've already called some of the guys that are on the east side of the state to grow a lot of pumpkins, but they don't have the agritourism when guests come out, and there's a good chance, they said, that they're going to need to buy a semi-truckload or two of pumpkins from them, bring them out, set them back out in the field, and then let the customers come and buy it from them. So mice was the problem this year. Weeds, he's saying part of the reason for the weeds, they meant to shift the corn maze and the pumpkin patch part this year, but this is, they like to do pumpkins 4 years in one spot and then rotate something else, and this is actually the 5th year, and he thinks that's part of the reason that the weeds are really nailing him in that section. So that's an unfortunate thing for him. Let's go visit the corn maze. The corn, he said, is amazingly healthy. So we'll show you the picture, the aerial picture of the corn maze, or hopefully we'll have it. You might ask, how do they get these rows? A lot of corn mazes, you'll see stalks cut, and as they're growing the corn, after it's grown, they'll cut a pattern in it. But that's not the case in the corn maze here. What they do is they draw it in lime on the ground, and they plant the entire field, but then they go through and they actually till up. Oh, so I hit the wall. I do not know how to get out of this corn maze. Okay, but anyway, they ended up, so what they do every year is they till up or turn in the areas where the pattern is for their design, and so the corn just doesn't actually grow there. It just leaves a bare dirt spot. So we get all this corn and no tough stalks to try to walk on or anything like that. This is amazing corn. Holy cow. Anyway, he said he had a good corn crop this year. Anyway, so I am not going to do the entire corn maze. I don't think you're going to sit there and watch me do it. But yeah, this is 6 acres that a guy could be going through here. If you go into someone's corn maze, I know this is a frustration for the Donalds. It's usually not too bad, but there's always a couple knuckleheads that think it's funny to just take off and run through the corn and knock down the corn and do different rows. But realize the amount of effort that they put into this, and don't be that knucklehead that ruins a beautiful corn maze. Just stay on the path, go where you're supposed to go, and let the people that come after you enjoy a nice maze. And I need to figure out which way I'm going to get out of here. I was too busy talking on the camera. Here we go. We'll get out of here right here. This is funny, I didn't see this until I walked out of the corn maze. This is what they do with the people that can't stay on the path in the corn maze. Put them in the stalks. You know, a few days still from opening, but there's a lot of people out here working. Here's one of their display areas. It's not completely decorated yet, but they will have already picked pumpkins here. They always do a good job with corn stalks and hay bales. There's more on the other side of this wall right here. Got a hay bale maze as well. Between the crop and the barns are an established row of oak trees, a significant row of oak trees, and I've had to be careful here because acorns have been almost dropping on my head. All right, so here I am standing out in the patch, Woodland, Washington. If you're anywhere near Woodland and you want to get a pumpkin, you should probably come on out here. It's a wonderful farm, wonderful people. There's a lot more going on. I'm not going to show you all this because I have it in previous videos. You can look back at my channel, some of the things they've done in previous years. But they have several food trucks out here. They have the hay ride, which one day they did like 1,500 hay rides. They're so popular, they kept going around and around. They have the corn maze. There's animals out here, all kinds of decorations. Come on out to the patch in Woodland, Washington. And thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching and cleaning horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion. Hope to see you again soon. Be blessed, everyone.